I lost $380,000 of my retirement savings in less than 2 years. The worst part? I handed it over willingly to someone I met at church, someone who promised to take care of me and my wife in our golden years. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could save you from the same devastating mistake. My name's Robert. I'm 68 years old, and this isn't some story I read online. This is my life. This actually happened to me. And 3 years later, I'm still dealing with the fallout. I'm sharing this because I see seniors getting taken advantage of every single day. If my story can help even one person avoid this nightmare, it's worth the embarrassment of admitting how badly I screwed up. Let me paint you a picture. I just turned 65 after working construction for 47 years. Started as a laborer at 18, worked my way up to foreman, eventually ran my own small crew. Nothing fancy, but honest work. For nearly 5 decades, I busted my butt in the blazing Texas heat and bitter cold, saving every penny I could. Started with $50 a month back in the 70s. We lived modestly, kept cars for 10 years, no expensive vacation, clipped coupons, the whole 9 yards. By the time I hit 62, I had $420,000 saved between my 401, some CDs, and a brokerage account. Linda and I would sit at the kitchen table looking at those statements, hardly believing 2 working class folks had built that kind of nest egg. The plan was simple: retire at 65 with a small pension, Social Security, and live off our savings until we were 90. We could travel a little, spoil the grandkids, not worry about money. Man, I was naive. In spring 2022, I met Richard Mitchell at our church, Trinity Baptist, where we'd been members for 35 years. He was new to the congregation, clean-cut guy in his mid-50s, always wore nice suits, drove a Lexus, seemed successful. After service one Sunday, we started talking. He asked about my work. Have you got your retirement finances squared away? I told him my money was in stable index funds and CDs, nothing crazy. He got this concerned look. Robert, can I be honest with you, brother to brother? The market's about to go through major changes. Inflation's coming, interest rates are shifting. If your money's just sitting there, you could lose a significant chunk. Have you thought about working with a financial advisor? I'd never used an advisor before, always managed my own money, kept it simple. But Richard seemed knowledgeable and had that air of success. Plus, he was at our church, which meant he was trustworthy, right? I am a financial advisor. Been doing this for 20 years. I specialize in helping folks just like you. I'd be happy to look at your portfolio, no charge, no obligation. That should have been red flag number 1. But I wanted to believe him. He seemed like a good Christian man. He dressed nice, drove a Lexus, seemed to have it together. Linda was hesitant. Do we really need someone managing our money? We've done fine on our own. But I convinced her. Honey, this is what he does for a living. He's a professional. And he goes to our church. Pastor Jim knows him. Let's just hear him out. Famous last words. 2 weeks later, Richard came to our house with a leather portfolio, fancy charts and graphs, and tons of confidence. He spent 3 hours going through our finances. He was good. I'll give him that. Asked all the right questions about our savings, expenses, goals, made us feel important, like our financial security was his personal mission. Then he started pointing out problems with our setup. You've got money scattered everywhere. Your 401k here, CDs there, this brokerage account over here. It's not working efficiently. You're paying unnecessary fees, and your returns are anemic. He showed us impressive charts demonstrating how our money could grow at 8 to 12% annually instead of 3-4%. With proper diversification and the right mix of investments, I can get you better returns and protect you from downside risk. He talked about structured notes and private equity opportunities only available to his clients. Made it sound exclusive, like we were getting access your regular folks couldn't touch. Linda asked about cost. Richard smiled. I work on a fee-based structure. I only make money when you make money. My fee is 1.5% annually. So if you have $400,000 with me, that's $6,000 a year. But if I'm getting you 10% returns instead of 3%, that's an extra $28,000 in your pocket. The fee pays for itself. It sounded reasonable, smart, and most importantly, like he had our best interests at heart. I'm a fiduciary. I have to act in your best interest. I can't recommend anything that's not good for you. That sealed it. A fiduciary. I have to act in your best interest. I can't recommend anything that's not good for you. That sealed it. A fiduciary. A legal obligation to help us. What could go wrong? In June 2022, we signed papers transferring $380,000 to Richard's firm. We kept $40,000 in checking for emergencies, but everything else went to him. He was excited, shook my hand, hugged Linda, told us we'd made a great decision. We went home feeling smart and responsible. For the first few months, everything seemed fine. Monthly statements showed steady growth. Richard called every few weeks, always upbeat. The market's been choppy, but we're positioned perfectly. Don't worry about day-to-day fluctuations. We're playing the long game. We trusted him completely. Then February 2023, I noticed our statement showed we were down $15,000 from last quarter. I called Richard. What's going on? Oh yeah, the market's been rough. Tech stocks are down, bonds too because of rate hikes. But we're diversified. We'll bounce back. This is just temporary volatility. That word, volatility. He used it constantly. And every time I felt less worried. But March came. We were down another 20,000. April, another 15,000. By May, we'd lost over 70,000, almost 20% in less than a year. I panicked. Richard, what the hell is happening? We've lost 70 grand. He sighed like he'd had this conversation 100 times. Robert, I know this is scary, but if you pull out now, you lock in those losses. The worst thing you can do is panic. We need to stay the course. Trust me, I've been through multiple market cycles. This is normal. Normal? We're retired. We can't afford to lose this. You hired me to manage this. You need to trust the process. If you'd wanted safe, boring returns, you should have kept your money in CDs. But you wanted growth, and growth comes with risk. That stung. He made me feel irrational, like I didn't understand investing. So I backed off. Biggest mistake of my life. By August 2023, months after giving Richard our money, our account was down to $247,000. We'd lost $133. I couldn't sleep. Linda cried every night. We were supposed to be enjoying retirement, instead watching our future disappear. Finally, I demanded to see exactly where he'd invested our money. He resisted. You don't need to micromanage this. That's why you hired me. Richard, I said, I want to see where my money is. Now. He sent the documentation. That's when I understood how badly I'd been screwed. He'd put $120,000 into a non-traded RE, a real estate investment trust that wasn't publicly traded, meaning our money was locked up, couldn't be accessed easily, and was losing value fast. These pay huge commissions to advisors who sell them. He'd invested $85,000 in structured notes, incredibly complex products almost nobody understands, with massive fees, and we were down 30%. He'd put $90,000 into a private equity fund, supposedly investing in emerging tech. So risky it should never be in a retirement portfolio. It had lost half its value. He kept $85,000 in regular stocks and bonds, but even those were down from poor choices. The kicker? That 1.5% annual fee was just his management fee. The non-traded REIT had 3% fees. Structured notes had 2%. Private equity charged 2.5%. We were paying nearly 8% per year total. Even if investments performed well, which they hadn't. We were getting destroyed by fees. I called Richard, not polite anymore. You've destroyed us. You took everything we worked for and pissed it away on high commission garbage you knew was wrong for us. Now, Robert, don't. You said you were a fiduciary. You said you had to act in our best interest. I am a fiduciary. Everything I recommended was suitable for your risk profile. Suitable? We're retired. We needed this money to live on. You signed the risk disclosure forms, Robert. You acknowledged you understood the investments carried risk. That's when I knew. He'd covered his ass legally. All those forms we'd signed, all that fine print we hadn't read because we trusted him, it was all there. On paper, he'd done everything right. But morally, he'd robbed us. I reported Richard to FinRA, the organization regulating financial advisors. They investigated. You know what they found? Technically, he hadn't broken any laws. Everything was disclosed, documented. Sure, the investments were questionable and fees outrageous, but we'd signed off. They noted it in his record. That's it. No fine, no suspension. He's still practicing, still at that church, probably still finding new victims. We liquidated everything we could, taking more losses because those non-traded REITs and private equity funds can't be sold easily. After redemption periods and haircuts on everything, we moved what was left to simple, low-cost index funds at Vanguard. We had $238,000 left. We'd lost $142,000 in less than 2 years, not counting opportunity cost. What that money could have earned staying in boring old index funds. Linda and I are now 68 and 67. We're living on Social Security. My small pension, trying to stretch $238,000 out for the rest of our lives. We've made major changes. No travel, no helping grandkids with college, constantly worrying about money. Medical expenses terrify us. The comfortable retirement we'd planned for 47 years, gone because I trusted the wrong person. Here's what I learned the hard way. Fiduciary doesn't prevent high-fee, high-commission products as long as they disclose it in fine print. Base doesn't mean conflict-free. Richard got 5 to 7% commissions on those products. Going to your church doesn't make someone trustworthy. Con artists target religious communities. If you don't understand an investment, don't do it. High fees destroy returns. Most people should pay less than 0.5% total. Anything over 1% is a red flag. Check credentials at brokercheck.finra.org before giving anyone money. Get second opinions. You don't need complicated investments. Simple, low-cost index funds work for most people. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Trust your gut. We're getting by, barely. But we're together, healthy, making the best of it. I've become a crusader about this stuff, talking to anyone who will listen. We moved our remaining money to Vanguard, simple index funds. No advisor taking a cut. Our money grows slowly but steadily, and I can sleep at night. If you're approaching retirement, ask your advisor, are you a fiduciary 100% of the time? Get it in writing. Ask how they're paid, commissions, fees, other compensation. If they're evasive, run. Google any investment before committing. Consider DIY with low-cost index funds at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Never give authority to move money without your approval. Talk to family before major financial moves. I'm 68, still working part-time, handyman jobs, consulting, whatever supplements our income. I thought I'd be fishing, traveling, spending time with grandkids. Instead, I'm working because I trusted the wrong person. Don't be me. Don't let your guard down. Don't assume credentials, church memberships, or nice suits mean someone has your best interests at heart. Your retirement is your responsibility. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. If this helped you or could help someone you know, please share it. Leave a comment if you've had similar experiences or have questions. We're all in this together, and the more we share, the harder it gets for people like Richard to take advantage. Thanks for watching, and for God's sake, be careful out there. Take care of yourselves and each other.